Let me ask you something. Are you living? Or just waiting for permission to exist? You see, most people go through life with their heads down. They walk like they're carrying the weight of every failure, every doubt, every voice that told them they weren't enough. You can see it in their posture, in their eyes, in the way they speak like they're apologizing for taking up space. But here's the truth. You've got to stop moving through life like you're broken. Don't walk like a man who's been defeated. Don't speak like a woman who's second-guessing her worth. Don't carry yourself like someone waiting for the world to approve of you. Because confidence, power, presence, they're not handed to you. You claim them. You act like you're the best, not because you've already reached the top, but because that mindset is the only thing that'll get you there. It's not arrogance. It's alignment. It's the quiet understanding that the road to greatness begins the moment you decide to walk like you belong there. The world, it doesn't respond to hesitation. It doesn't reward people who whisper their worth. It respects those who move with clarity, who carry themselves with dignity, even when no one's clapping, even when everything's uncertain. Let me be blunt. Nobody is coming to save you. Nobody is handing out confidence. You earn that by deciding right now to stop waiting and start becoming. So, straighten your back. Look people in the eye. Speak like your words mean something. Walk into rooms like you're meant to be there because you are. The first rule of change is simple. Stop acting like you're broken and start carrying yourself like you've already started winning. You know what holds most people back? It's not their talent, not their background, not even their resources. It's the idea that they have to wait to be ready, wait to feel confident, wait for someone to give them the green light. But let me tell you something, Stoics understood centuries ago, you don't wait your way to greatness. You walk like it's already yours. You don't need someone to validate your path. You need the courage to take the first step even when your legs are shaking, even when no one's watching, especially when no one's watching. Because confidence doesn't fall from the sky. It's forged in the quiet moments, in the early mornings, in the hours of discipline no one will ever praise. A Stoic doesn't need to shout. They don't walk into a room trying to be liked. They walk in like a mountain still, calm, undeniable. That's the mindset we're talking about here. This isn't arrogance, it's clarity. Clarity that comes from knowing the storms you've survived, the pain you've carried. The discipline you chose when quitting would have been easier. Let me ask you, do you walk like someone who's begging to be accepted? Or do you walk like someone who's already accepted themselves? When you speak, do your words float like smoke light, fleeting, easily ignored? Or do they land like stone steady, deliberate, unshakable? See, true humility isn't about shrinking to make others comfortable, and silence isn't weakness. Silence is power when it's backed by action, the kind of power that doesn't need to explain itself. So stop asking for permission to show up fully. Move like someone who's already earned their place, not by applause, but by discipline. Because the world doesn't follow the loudest voice. It follows the one who walks with purpose. And that's what makes you dangerous. Let's talk about two men. One ruled the most powerful empire on earth. The other was born into slavery. But both became legends. Not because of what they owned, but because of how they owned themselves. Let's start with Marcus Aurelius. Imagine waking up every day as Emperor of Rome, the most powerful man alive. You have armies, riches, influence. You could have indulged in ego, but instead Marcus wrote Meditations, a journal not for glory, but for grounding. He reminded himself again and again, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Real strength is within. He didn't walk like a servant to doubt. He didn't wait for applause. He ruled from the inside out, anchored, aware, unshaken. That's Stoicism. Then there's Epictetus. He was born a slave. He had no status, no rights, no freedom. But somehow, he was the most free man alive. Why? Because he understood something most people never will. You can chain my body, but my mind, my soul, that's mine. He lived with one unshakable truth that character is the only thing no one can take from you. Not poverty, not pain, not even oppression. He didn't need a title to walk with purpose. He didn't need praise to feel powerful. He acted as if he already had the one thing that mattered, inner mastery. Now here's the point. If a Roman emperor and a former slave could both arrive at the same truth that true power lives within, what's stopping you? You don't need to rule a kingdom. You don't need to be born into privilege. You need clarity. You need discipline. You need to choose not to be owned by fear, doubt, or anyone else's opinion. Because the battlefield isn't out there, it's in your mind. And if Marcus could rule an empire without losing himself, if Epictetus could suffer chains without surrendering his soul, then what excuse do we have? Let's be honest. You've been through things most people will never know. You've suffered in silence quietly, without applause, without comfort, without a spotlight. But you still stood up. And that right there, that's what makes you different. Not perfection, not talent, but the decision to keep going when everything in you wanted to stop. See, we live in a world that glorifies ease, quick wins, instant validation, the highlight reel. But you've been forged in something deeper, something real. You've learned how to carry pain without letting it define you, how to keep walking even when every step hurts. And that pain, it wasn't for nothing. It became part of you. It hardened your resolve. It sharpened your focus. It gave weight to your voice and fire to your presence. Discipline became your armor. Pain became your fuel. You didn't ask for power. You earned it by enduring, by doing the hard things consistently, even when no one was watching. And here's the truth. Nobody wants to say out loud. That voice in your head, the one that tells you you're not good enough, not ready, not worthy, that voice is a liar. You silence it by acting like the best version of yourself, not out of ego, but out of principle. Because every time you show up, despite the fear, every time you speak with clarity, despite the doubt, every time you train, work, lead, build, when you could have just quit, that's you choosing power. That's you declaring, I will not be ruled by weakness. You're not faking it. You're fighting for the life you know you are meant to live. So if you've been through pain, good. If you've walked through fire, even better. Because the world doesn't need more loud, fragile men chasing attention. It needs more calm, grounded warriors who carry their pain with purpose. And you've already proven you're one of them. Let's tell the truth for once. The world worships loud, fragile men. People chasing attention, chasing applause, chasing anything. Because they don't know who they are when the room goes quiet. But you're built for something higher. You don't need noise. You don't need validation. You choose silence, not out of fear, but out of strength. You choose to be grounded while the world spins in chaos. Because here's what they don't tell you. Real power doesn't shout. Real power doesn't perform. Real power doesn't beg to be seen. It walks through fire and comes out stronger. You've been through your own fire, haven't you? Maybe it was loss. Maybe it was betrayal. Maybe it was years of being underestimated, overlooked, dismissed. But you didn't burn. You forged something in that heat. Something calm. Something quiet. Something unshakable. Seneca once said, "It is not that life is short, but that we waste much of it." And he was right. Think about how many days we spend playing small, waiting, hesitating, overthinking, shrinking ourselves to make others feel comfortable, letting fear negotiate with our potential. But every single day you hesitate, every day you doubt, every day you live like life is a rehearsal. You shorten the life you were meant to live. You weren't made to play small. You were made to choose the higher path. The world is a battlefield, but it's not out there. The real war is in your mind. And if you win there, if you build discipline, silence the noise, commit to something higher than comfort, then nothing outside of you can shake you. So don't follow the crowd. Don't copy the noise. Walk your path, the harder one, the quieter one, the one that leads to something real. Because in the end, it's not about how loud you were. It's about how unshakable you became. That's the Stoic warrior's way. And it's yours, if you choose it. Let me tell you something. Most people spend their whole lives avoiding. You don't need applause. You don't need followers. You don't need anyone to say you're doing great. What you need is you. Clear, anchored, relentless. Because when you walk like someone who's already seen the battlefield, someone who's already made peace with pain, with failure, with the unknown, there's a different weight in your step. Not hesitation. Command. That's the mindset. You don't react to life anymore. You lead it. Yes, it's going to cost you. It'll cost you comfort. It'll cost you fitting in. It may even cost you relationships that were built on your silence, your compliance, your need to please. But the reward? Freedom. Freedom from fear. Freedom from waiting. Freedom from living on your knees, hoping someone else sees your worth. Listen, acting like the best doesn't mean faking it. It doesn't mean arrogance or pretending you have it all figured out. It means you move with discipline. It means your ambition is loud, even when your mouth is quiet. It means you stop asking the world for permission to be powerful. Can you endure loneliness? Can you keep going when no one claps for you? Can you lead yourself through the dark when no one's guiding you? If the answer is yes, then you're free. Because a free man doesn't beg for strength, he builds it. He doesn't soften his edge just to make others feel safe. He doesn't explain his standards, his silence, or his vision. He walks in truth. He speaks with weight. And he never, never apologizes for wanting more. So hear this and remember it. Act like you are the best. Not because you're perfect, not because it's easy, but because you've suffered, sacrificed, and stayed standing. No more apologies for your ambition. No more explaining your discipline. And no more shrinking so the world can stay comfortable. You're not here to be accepted. You're here to be free.